Hi, this is just a quick introduction to the game platform Twine and thus to interactive fiction kind of in general. Up on the screen I have an interesting, funny Twine game called Cat Petting Simulator 2014. And I'm going to play through just a little bit and talk about what it's doing in terms of principles of interactive fiction. Overall, interactive fiction we could say is any narrative that requires input from the reader or player in order to progress through the story. You may remember things like choose your own adventure books. These require choices to be made by the reader in order to progress through the story. So it's a different kind of structure than the usual narratives that we're used to, where you go page by page or screen by screen. And so they're interesting in that they have both literary and game elements to them, right? So you can't just there's a certain agency that a reader or a player has to take in making choices to get through a narrative. Here we're presented with an opening screen, opening statement, opening beginning to the narrative. You see a cat sitting on the back of the couch licking her paw. So we could pet the cat. I'm going to check and see what this says. What's her name? So here we can actually name the cat. We'll name the cat. And then in doing that, it tells us a little bit about the cat. Go back. So we're presented again with the choice to pet the cat. So in this case, the choice is to move forward in whatever narrative this is going to be. So we can pet the cat. So now we can see that we're presented with a block of text, so the narrative progresses, but then we're presented with multiple choices, and you can kind of tell, given what they're labeled, that these may take us in different directions in this story. So we could immediately go, yes, go for the belly. Oh, so the story responds that you can't do that, but it suggests if you pet her some more, she might let you try. So we'll just go with the first one. So it continues, and then it tells us a bit more, and then we are sent back to this. So we've done that one and that one. We know that's not going to work, so rub her back some more. Okay, so this presents us with a new series. So now that we've made a choice, this opens up other choices. One could say that in interactive fiction, there are a couple different, or in any kind of fiction really, but especially this becomes apparent in interactive fiction, there's a couple different structures that may be at work. One we would call axial, that is like a axle or axiom, in that it progresses really linearly, like an axis, right, like going across. So you make choices and you go straight forward. Like the first screen that we had in this story, for instance, we had one choice, so it moved us axially. We could also say that interactive fiction gives us what are called arborescent choices, that is, branching, like a tree. We saw this with the next screen where we were presented with almost like a menu, a list of choices, and this happened, and we took some different ways and it would bring us back and stuff like that. And here on this screen, we're given another list of choices we can make that branch out to different possible effects. Now, the fact that we can loop back to earlier choices is a third kind of structure that one could just call networked. That is, we have axial, which just goes along an axis, like kind of straightforward. Arborescent, which branches out, multiplies the choices. Networked is kind of like arborescent in that things branch out, but then they can also loop back, right? Different nodes are connected to different, some nodes are connected to other nodes, right? So we see the ways in which we can, even in this story, all three structures are at work. So interactive fiction, those are this axial, arborescent, networked structures aren't exclusive to each other, but we might notice patterns of this, or sort of dominant patterns in any given particular story slash game. So Cat Petting Simulator 2014, if you can track it down. I'll put it in the other stuff file, and you could play through with it along with the others. But it's just an example of things people do with Twine. The 4 stories that I have listed for you to read for this day do different kinds of things with Twine. At the center of each one of them is the issue of player choice, and the ways that these games play with the issue of choice and sort of the effects of that choice, and the ways in which your choice lead to more choices or different choices or shut down choices. So that's something to pay attention to as you play through these games, that even if they are about very different topics, they present you with very different kinds of experiences. At the center of each one of them is this interactivity that's based off of the player, the reader, making choices. So I hope you enjoy the games. Love to see what you come up with in your activity for the day. Enjoy.